Hi, my name is Steve Faulkner. This is Real Magic Review, and this is my interview with Noel Qualter. Now, so it's very dark and late here, so it might look a bit weird, and it's really hot, so I might look a bit shiny. But just a little bit about this. I've known Noel on and off for a few years now. I don't know him really well, but I've always been intrigued by him since I saw him a long time ago in a session talking about creativity. And he's won 3 awards, consecutive years, the Originality Award for the Magic Circle, and he's kind of known for his unique take on magic tricks with Alarmed and Bliss and various other products that we don't really go into a lot here. This is more about how he's dealing with the current situation and someone that is adapting in real time to what's happening at the moment. And the really interesting thing is it's happening now. He's very recently adapted his show. He's taken it off of out of close-up and professional settings with his iPad Magic straight into Zoom. So it's really nice to get, to get the real-time kind of feeling about what that's like. So I found this incredibly valuable, way more valuable than I thought it was going to be. And I don't say that because I wasn't expecting it to be valuable, because I know that Noel's great. I mean, I just love talking to him. He's very funny and he's very likable and he knows his stuff. But it just, it was very candid, and I got a hell of a lot out of it, and I think you will too. So do me a favor, at the end of it, make sure you look at all the stuff below so you can get his information and have a look at his stuff. Also, make sure you watch to the end. This isn't a quick interview, but there is some gold in this that I would have killed for, and actually am killing for now, because I might have to adapt to performing on Zoom and performing online. But it's not just for that. If you're any type of magician, if you're just getting into magic, I think you'll get a hell of a lot for it. So thank you so much to Noel for doing this. It really was an absolute joy. And of course, the usual things, please like, please subscribe. If you like this, please share it, okay? It's really important, because it isn't the sort of thing, I haven't got the time or the money to share it all over the place. And when people do find it, they kind of go, oh, I didn't know about this. So if you could share it, that'd be great. Oh, and of course, had to cut this in because I forgot, check out cardmagiccourse.com, going from strength to strength, investing a lot of time into it and energy, and that's a good thing because I love it. So cardmagiccourse.com, have a look at that, with over 200 videos of tutorials from me. But enjoy it, have fun, and here we go. Mr. Noel Qualter.
Like this, I mean, like you probably got very flashed up. Weirdly, this is now turned into sort of a proper zoomy setup with lights and camera and microphones and stuff like that. But I still don't know what I'm doing with it all.
Well, let's go. Well, okay. So for those of you, I'm not going to go into everything you do. You're a working magician. You're a consultant. You've done loads of consulting for TV. You've done stage. You've got this new iPad. Well, not new. A couple of years. A lot of stuff with iPads that you've been doing. So we can talk about that at any time.
Yeah.
In a bit. But I think the theme is kind of, for me, is how things are affecting us and you. And this is not really an interview. It's more of a chat for anybody watching. So your new setup, what's been the process for that? So what's been the process from, oh God, I haven't got any gigs, to now?
Well, first thought is, haven't got any gigs. And I was thinking, I enjoyed being a professional magician. It was fun. But that's it. We're done now. I couldn't see a time when I'd be doing anything. Then I basically ate Maltesers for about 2 months. I've given up wearing jeans, or hard pants as they used to be called, and I was just on my ass for months. And then I thought, I'm going to start doing a virtual show. A few people had done it. I thought, I'm going to do it. And Nikki, my girlfriend, persuaded me that it might be a good idea to do it. And at first, I didn't really have any passion for it at all. And I became a bit more interested. I thought, I can make it work, because all I could see was that mind reading was the only way to do it. And it's never really been my thing. And because you can't do the stuff you want to do. So I thought, I'm going to have to eat a lot of mind reading. And now I've put together a show that I'm proud of, that is a little bit of mind reading, a bit of magic, a little bit of visual stuff and interactive stuff. And it sort of fits a bit more. It feels a bit more like me and a proper show. So yeah, that's sort of been the journey. But it's sort of come together in the last 3 weeks, the Zoomy show. So yeah, it's been a steep old learning curve, that's for sure.
Yeah. And how was it? Looking for material, did you? Because you're like me. You do a lot of sleight of hand, and your close up stuff is kind of you've got these originality
Yeah,
awards. So you've got so you're doing original stuff, but you're also would it be fair to say you're
yeah.
doing
No,
kind of
like
normal
my
stuff as well?
background is being a jobbing close-up magician,
Yeah.
and the nature of being a jobbing close-up magician is that all of the tricks you do are basically put this in your hand, an amazing thing happens. Just repeatedly do that. Obviously, that'll never happen again. Put this possible death in your hands, and this we'll see how it goes. Choose
Yeah.
one of the 52 possible options for death.
Yeah.
So, so I was thinking, what on earth am I going to do? Like material-wise, I can't do. I don't know. I can't put anything in people's hands. I can't do even visual magic. People, yes, you can do Professor's Nightmare. You can do straight down the lens. Here is a visual magic trick. Here is extreme burn. Here is, I don't know, a color change on screen. But they're looking at a small screen in bad resolution, and they're not there live. And I don't think that it has any of the power. Like live, if you do a visual magic trick, it's quite pretty, but no one's running screaming from a color change. It's just a pretty thing to look at. And what you want to do is really affect them and hit them hard. So I was doing. So I looked at some visual magic and I realised that most of the visual magic I would do just will not work. And like my speciality is doing stuff with iPads and things like that. But if you can't see, one of the things for a magic trick is you need to be at the integrity of the magic trick. So live, you know that the person is, if they're doing a mind reading thing and it's live, you know there's nothing else sneaky he can do. He is just there. He's asked you a question. If he reveals what's in your head, then it is very fair. In this environment, anything is possible. I could have, I mean, the crazy world is I could have CCTV in your house reading what you're writing. I could have, a mate, I could have paid off someone in your house to text me what it says, or 100 different things. It's the same thing was true of magic tricks. Is this whole wall could just be cardboard. There could be a team of elves behind there building something, 3D printing the object you just named. Like there was absolutely no integrity on a Zoom magic show. Everything you see, like here's the crazy thing. This is the actual shot that you would see if you booked me for Zoom magic. My hands aren't even in shot. How can that even be a thing? Look, here I am I've done 3 passes. None of them are flashed. Ta-da!
I know.
It's ridiculous. But to sell this as a magic show seems crazy. So that's why there's a whole ton of interactive-y stuff and mind-reading-y stuff.
Yeah.
Because I don't think what we're in the business of is hitting people as hard as we can with powerful magic. And I don't think the stuff I would normally do I don't think it physically can be done, and I don't think it has any power in this environment.
No, and that power comes from for me, it comes from the rapport as well that you have with that person. So there's a feeling around the magic before it happens, and that feeling is very important, which is why the classic cocky magician doesn't get the same response with the same trick as someone he likes, So how has that been on screen to sort of build up rapport? How was the first one?
The first one was absolutely hideous. I was considering having like this special button where I would just it looked like the internet was messing around. I start doing Norman calling and then just pull the plug.
Yeah.
I did it for my brother and his friends, and I sent him a message and said, my brother's family and her mum and dad want to watch this show? And so it's a run through of this Zoom magic show. Will you watch? And then he said, yeah, sure. He said, can I send it to some other people? I said yes, because I didn't think for a second it would go to anyone else. Then I got a message from a tenant in my flat, and he said, oh, you're looking forward to seeing your show tonight. Your brother told me about it. I heard about it via the football teams that he sent it to. And I went, can you send me the message? And the message said, please, can you watch Noel's Zoom magic show tonight? It doesn't matter if you actually have the video camera on or not. All that matters is that you watch it, and he'll get better ratings, and he'll get more money from the advertisers. So how has any of these things happened?
No.
None of those things are true. So I turned on, and having, just as a run through, maybe 40 or 50 people, of which 45 of them I'd never met. And I was billed as, the great mystical magician. And it's all just terrible, just absolutely, like, nothing's working. All I can hear is every time someone clears their throat, the microphone goes to them. It was a learning process. It was absolutely. If I could have stopped it and never done it again at that moment, I would have done. It's amongst the top 5 worst shows I've ever had, and that is a very strong lineup.
And how long ago was that?
3 weeks ago. But that's the world we're in now, because there's like Pete He is a magician in the UK. Is an amazing magician. He's the person who started doing Zoom magic shows in this country, and everyone has jumped on the bandwagon and copied him. He's basically our Di Vernon. He's 2 months into this,
Brilliant.
3 months into this. How in normal life, if a magician said to me, "I've got 3 months' experience of the thing, I'll give you some hot tips," I'm like, "You're all right. I think I'll make my own way." But now 3 months 3 weeks is a lot of time in Zoom magic world, but 3 months is a lot.
Well, there was someone on Facebook the other day saying how it's almost like, how dare people write a book on Zoom magic when they haven't been doing it for long enough, and
No one has.
I think, well, no one has, of course. So we grasp at what we can, and I think that there is that thing with teaching, isn't it? That if you're further along, you're further along than the last person, so you can save them time. And I think that you look at the video chat magic and things like that, which I think you had. Did you have something to do with that?
I've given something to Will for it. It's not been in it yet, but I think Will's got something of mine. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just to me, because I haven't done a Zoom show, but I might have to at some point. And I did a lecture last night, and that was hard enough.
Choices we make today are not the same choices we'll have to make in the future. Like I've had, even in the short time we've been in this crazy new world, I've had magician friends say I wouldn't dream of doing it. In fact, I was that category. I wouldn't dream of doing it. Then maybe, then I think I'll do it. Then I'm doing it, and now I'm pushing it. And the same, I've had mates in the last week saying, never happening, might happen. I've got my first one, because this situation isn't going away until there's a vaccine. Like we might have, if we're very lucky, I think we might do some magic work at Christmas, maybe. And it'll be small things in a private dining room, less than 10 people is my guess. I'm no medical expert, obviously, but I can't, we're in this for the long term. So we'll just be doing this Zoom magic shows. It's rather than Zoom magic shows, it's just magic shows. If you want to show magic to someone, this is the only way you're doing it now, unless it's your family.
Yeah. And some people, I think, will take that as a kind of, because I think people, the danger is mindless optimism, isn't it? That I always say, you kind of, the danger is, we'll definitely be all right by Christmas, based on what, so it's not a depressing thing. I think
virus doesn't care about the calendar. Like people saying, by New Year, you go, but like the calendar, like virus thing, I'll give him a break at New Year. I'll give him a break for 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, I know.
Also, it's about public confidence, and it's all a bit bleak, but like, when will 500 people be happy to be in the same room? Even if tomorrow they said the virus, turns out if you take an Anadin in the morning, you'll never get the virus. Even if they announce that tomorrow morning, there wouldn't be any magic work for months, because people wouldn't believe it. And eventually, even if they start to believe it, would they believe it to the point of having 500 people in there? So,
no, maybe not. And I think it is. I don't think it's depressing. I think it's real, and I think that so we've got to close off that thing of it's sad, it's bleak, it is what it is, and we've got to then start rebuild, like you have. I mean, you. So I remember talking to you very briefly when this happened, and you were like, "What am I going to do?" We had a very brief chat. You was like, "What am I going to do?" You weren't asking me. It was a rhetorical thing. It was like we were both going, "Go," and now you've gone from that to what would have been cobbling that thing together, and now has become a thing. Where did you look for the material? I don't know if you kind of to share your material, but where because there wasn't. I mean, now we've got sort of Zoom mentalism, video chat magic.
Yeah,
you've got. I suppose it's
because you sort of think, I can do this instinctively. Like I'll just know, and then you look at the material. It's so easy to know what won't work. Like anything. Like so, one of the things is people say, "Isn't it wonderful that you haven't got to? If you're doing something that normally be examinable, you don't have to get it examined because they can't examine it now." But it doesn't work like that, because if you do the most visual magic trick, and at the end you would normally say, and you know what? Let's say you're doing coin unique, and one coin disappears, and you're rolling around the glass. Normally a great magic trick. Let's say you had a shot from above, and you did this, and it vanished really cleanly. You might say, "Oh, it's amazing," but a punter might also say, "I guess the coin is hiding underneath the bigger coin," and then you would say, "No, honestly, it's not. I'll lift it up and show you." But then in real life, they would want to look at it, and the power would come from them checking it themselves. They can't, so it has no power, because just because they can't examine it doesn't mean it's a good thing. It just means that they go, "I guess it's hidden there somewhere." Like I said, like this whole set could be cardboard. There could be pulleys and levers and things like that. So material-wise, I thought, what do I already do that could possibly work? That was a list of 1, invisible deck. So that was in. And then I looked at props. Like, we've all got endless crap in the cupboard. So I thought, what have I not used? And what do I think I can make work that has got either an interactive aspect to it? I want to be chatting to people and building, like you said about building the rapport. That's the toughest thing with this Zoom interactive magic is you say something to somebody and there's a slight lag. So jokes don't work. Normally in a gig, you would. It's the banter and the laughs you have with the group that's the reason why they remember you. You know, the magic is important, but it's that interactivity. You don't get that. In this, you say something, people are confused you're addressing them. Then you have this weird, me, yes. Can you name something? What now? Out loud. So it's like it is in real life with people confused, but even worse. So all jokes die a death. So then I'm thinking, so invisible deck, props are in the cupboard. So I had some things that I hadn't used that were either that had some kind of interactive twist to them. And then I thought, let's look at some strong mind reading. So things like Mark Kirstein's Wiki Test, which is the sponge balls of Zoom magic shows.
Do you know?
Is a miracle. So that's that was in there. There's certain things I knew I definitely had to do, and then the rest of it was build it around that.
Yeah. That's it. So you're saying what, and we come back to Wiki Test in a minute because we've got to come out. You've always got to come out of Wiki Test. So so we talked about what doesn't work.
Yeah.
What does then? And I don't mean what's the one thing. I mean what is the
well, what I think what you're looking for. So Will Houston said something interesting in the sort of early days where he was talking about putting together the video chat project, and he said that the goal shouldn't be. Let me paraphrase. The goal shouldn't be to do the magic show that you would normally do, or a version of it. The goal should be to do a show that's even stronger than you would do live.
Yeah.
Like, that is our ultimate goal, because if let's say you read someone's mind from hundreds of miles away, or you read someone's mind from 6 feet from them, now they're the same trick, but it seems so much stronger if you read their mind miles away. Same thing if I made something, if I made a coin disappear and reappear in your pocket live, strong trick. If I made a coin disappear here and it reappears in your pocket, then we've got a miracle. Like, that's, even though it's the same trick, like, neither can happen. It's the same thing as David Blaine in the special years ago, floating 2 inches is the same trick as floating 4 feet in the air, but one seems so much stronger. You know, you can't float. So I don't know what my point was, but the material is finding interactive things where they feel they're involved in it. So it's something in their house, or it is a deck of cards they're using, or it's something that I'm telling them, let's go through a series of actions. You do something, I do something, and we're producing something together. I am the leader of a magical experience rather than the shower of tricks.
I like that. I like the facility, almost like facilitating the thing happening.
Yeah, because on this Zoom show stuff, like, so there's different ways you can have it. So you can have it like the gallery view, where you've got, depending on how many people are on the call, more and more windows, and you would be top and center. You also have it the speaker view, or where different people are speaking, or it's spotlight on it, and then the focus will be on the magician. But the problem with that is these people want to be able to see their friends and family reacting to it. Yeah. So I tend to want to have it on the gallery view, which means I am one tiny postage stamp on a laptop, or even, could be on a mobile phone, could be a postage stamp on a phone, could be the reality. So even if I do a really visual magic, it's dead because they're looking at the size of their thumbnail.
Yeah, of course.
So whereas if I tell them instructions, if I am, the curator of their experience, it's a different thing. It feels, they feel like they can listen. They don't have to see what happens. We're sharing an experience.
I've never thought of it like that. I've kind of thought, when I'm that little box, but I've never thought of the kind of what you're talking about. When you're on stage, there's an ego to it, isn't there? There's a feeling, that rush you get off the crowd, and that's part of it. And I think I've lost quite a lot of the ego now, but I still get, doesn't mean I don't get incredible joy from it. But is there something about having to let go of some of that and accept that it's not all about you? It's
Well, that's the reality is you start a Zoom show, and I know from the first few ones, without fanfare, you suddenly arrive on this little screen and you start talking. It's like you're doing a magic trick on a bus without any billing. Yeah. Hi, hello, hi, sorry, hello, hi. It's every worst table experience you've ever had, but you're on mute, so they're like mentally on mute. They cannot hear or they don't care. Why is this man talking? Even though they half expect you to talk. So you have to get rid of all ego. You are just the same as them. They know that you're doing magic in your back bedroom. That is the reality. You've not got some studio, and even if you have, we're still on some version of lockdown. We shouldn't be going anywhere. So I think celebrate the things that are common amongst us. We are all stuck inside. We're all looking for entertainment and a fun experience. So I'm celebrating that, and also I wear sort of smart clothes, but I think it's ridiculous wearing a tux or a suit in this environment. I mean, yeah, it's showtime, and maybe you'd like to feel like you're doing a show. But for me, looking the same as them, I haven't wore proper smart clothes since the madness started, and neither have they. You want to be. The old saying is, we dress the same as or one step better than the people that are in our audience. I think it should be we dress the same as the people in our audience. So at the moment I've got a t-shirt on. For a gig, I'd put a shirt and a jacket on, but jogging bottoms. Because no one can see my bottom half in months. No one cares.
I know. I loved doing a lecture last night. When I just, sorry about cutting you off. I did a lecture last night with in bare feet, which I thought was just a really nice feeling. I've run leadership courses in bare feet and shorts, because they can't see. It's just great.
That's what you want for your leadership courses, which is I want this sort of like this hippie maestro that's leading us there. But that's the weird thing is that, like, you go from normally in the old world. You'd do a gig, you'd feel whatever you felt, the highs, the lows, the in-betweens. You'd get in the car, you'd drive back, you might speak to a mate or your wife, whatever. You'd speak to someone on the car and debrief them on the experience, and then you'd start the long way back. And when you got back, you might have a boozy drink or have something to eat, and you'd go and forget about it. The distance between finishing the show and relaxing is seconds. It's turn the webcam off and sit down. And you go, I'm done. Like, you can go from show to no show in seconds, which is a good and a bad thing, because if you're doing a show, you want to be up, you want to have your energy up, and doing a show sat down for me feels alien, but it's the right thing to do. The more of you they can see, the better. So within seconds of the show finishing, I can sort of relax, but not completely.
So how is that feeling now then? How many have you done? Roughly, you don't have to be like
5 or 6. 5 or 6 for money, and maybe 5 or 6 run-throughs with friends and family.
So that's quite a lot in the time you've had. I think that's So where are you now with it? How are you feeling about it now?
70% comfortable doing it. I'm lucky. I've got my girlfriend doing laptop and bits and pieces.
Great.
So, I'm like Anchorman. I'm just reading out things on pads of paper she's showing me, assuming it's all in good flow, and I'm not suddenly reading out the wrong thing. But it is. I'm relatively happy with the material at the moment. I might change things, might add things, but it feels like a show. It feels like a bit of texture. Like, ideally, I'd like to have some big old lumps of magic that was still in the show, but I haven't. Like there's things I miss. I don't think Thing to Impossible Location works. The trick I desperately want to do, and I've thought long and hard about it, is something disappearing from me and reappearing to them.
Yeah.
And then you've got logistical issues of making that work. But like, that's in real life, Thing to Impossible Location is by miles my favourite magic trick, and a version of that would be great. I've got friends of mine who are doing Thing to Impossible Location, but it reappearing on their person. But again, I don't think it works. I don't think that they buy anything that happens in your little zoomy world, because it could be anything. I could have anything going on.
Sorry to cut you off. I'm just thinking maybe that, because in a close-up situation, that's your killer stuff, isn't it? You think to Impossible Location. That's become, in this situation, the down bit, I think you could probably do it, but except that it's not a killer. It's kind of a thing you do that's more
in
classical,
real
and
life,
that's fine.
let's say if you ask 10 close-up magicians, I'd say at least 8, maybe 9 of them would say they finished with things in possible location, whether it's filling line or a card in a locked box or 100 different things. So everyone's got a version of it, and most people are closing with it. In this, doing card to wallet, strong, in lieu of signing the card, they can name a word and a different coloured pen and all that good stuff. But think of the ways it could, if they were guessing at methods, in real life, they know that is a straight card and it disappeared, reappeared there because they know it's their signature. Here, there's 100 different ways it could be done. I show the back of a card here, and then say, "Is this your card?" And just come out of shot for a second, and it's a signed card or 100 different things. I don't think the integrity of the magic trick is solid. I could have a jacket here, and someone could be below and sticking the card into my wallet from below. Anything at all. It's half works. I just don't think it truly works. So then you've got to put it in as a middler, because you can't close on it, whereas in reality you would normally close on something as strong as that.
And what about the sort of things I was in Zoo Mentalism, the Mark Elsdon thing? There were some really nice things that weren't super magical, but a couple of things are, but there are things in it that maybe were just fun. Are you doing any of that stuff? That is just okay. Let's accept that it's not a killer, but let's have fun at the beginning with the thing.
There's something in Zoom Mentalism that Mark showed me that's fantastic that I've started doing with the fingers, the ring, that was it, and then passing the ring based on how many letters. Really, really strong. And so I'll do that every so often in a Zoom show. And it's not a killer. No one's running screaming from it across the basketball court, but it is strong stuff. It's amazing. It's lightly amazing, and it starts to build you, because you start these shows rather than in the old days. If you're doing a stage show, you're introduced, you're the man, you walk out, I'm owning this situation, hello, and you're straight into it, power. And if you're doing a close-up situation, much less with the power, but you'd build towards it. In this, you start the same as them. You're just, the worst version of Celebrity Squares ever. You're just one of 20 small stamps talking to them on the screen. Yeah. And so you have to start slowly and softly with a soft introduction, hello, building a little bit of rapport. And it can start slowly. So something like some of Mark's stuff from Zoom Mentalism, building, and then you can have a jump up a little bit until you're in the really strong stuff. But if you start hitting them with the really strong stuff straight away, it's so much of a jump for them. It's the same rules as we normally do in a show. Let them get to know you. Let them get used to what they're looking at. And even the idea the booker books you, they understand what it might be. But the people on the call don't really understand. So I'm taking part in a magic show. Why do I have to have the webcam on? Can't I just watch him doing the tricks like on YouTube? So all of those people are a bit confused. So you have to bring them all along the way, because no one completely understands the new way of watching magic, which is what this is.
I wonder if there's a thing, when you're talking there about we start equal to them and we start, maybe there are issues with magic. And don't get me wrong, I love the magic world, but there are issues of the way people perceive magic. And part of the issue talking to non-magicians is this idea of ego, is this sort of cocky magician, is that it is an issue. And does this, is this shining a light on that issue and making us think about this? Because to me, when you're talking about we start at the same place, we get rapport, to me, that's what you do in a physical magic show as well. As you said, you've still got to do all those things. And I've always had an issue, and not an issue as in an issue, but me personally, I've tried to do really hard-hitting opening tricks. And some doesn't quite, they always say that's amazing, but something isn't there until I maybe do my second trick. And so, I know some people start with extreme burn because it bangs, but I've always still have to do a little bit of something before that. And I'm not saying that's the right or wrong thing, but I'm saying that kind of leveling thing, is that going to ultimately be quite, the people that are going to succeed in this are those people who put their ego out the door for a minute and go, okay, I'm the same as you, we're starting in this thing now, and I'll take you along for the ride.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the most important thing is when you start a magic show, whether it's the real world, this crazy world, whatever's happening, they just want to look at you for a few seconds and just go, "What am I looking at? What kind of what's he like? Is he for me? Is he not?" And it's just that little moment where they're just staring at you. And on a Zoom show, they're definitely doing it because they're confused as to what the medium is. So they
Yeah.
start to watch, and then so I wouldn't even think about doing a magic trick for the first 2 minutes, probably. Really, just keep it as conversational, as chatty as possible, because they're confused. You want to make sure everyone's okay with the sound issues and the technical side. Normally, you'd want all that done, but you realise that if you're talking to a nana, granddad in Cornwall with bad Wi-Fi and a dial-up internet and whatever else, and the phone's in landscape and they don't know what's going on, or they're holding the phone in the show, you need to take time out of the show and your ego and say, okay, right, let's make sure everyone's on the same page. I asked you to have a couple of bits ready for the show before the show started. Let's make sure everyone's got their setup right. And you'd hope
Yeah.
that maybe the person who was organising the call would have that set up. In fact, my hot tip now is I'm going to say to bookers, how about you guys have a Zoom call the night before, so as you all get used to what you're doing, make sure you've got the software and make sure you understand, which for a family occasion, they'd be delighted to have a little
Yeah.
chat before main thing. So I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's almost like the big thing when I started, checking out the venue properly. I don't mean going to the venue, but if I'm doing a gig, just finding out a little bit about the seating plan, so I wasn't hit with the dance floor of death when I got there. I could kind of look at it and go, well, that's not going to work. So we need to talk about that.
That's the world, because in the old days we'd be in a car park, and as soon as we'd arrive, I think I want to have a little look at the room. I don't want any surprises. In this, you're at home and you don't really know until you enter the meeting what you're getting yourself into. And it might be, a friend of mine did a show, he thought it was for 30 or 40 people. It's one person just in their jogging bottoms. He goes, all right, crack on. Let's see the tricky tricks. Really?
Oh.
And this is the world now. Like, one person, 100 people you don't know. You might ask them, but bookers rarely give you a straight answer as to what they're actually planning. They might plan on it, but you turn up, you have no idea. So until you click on join the meeting, it's like being outside the venue and you snap your fingers, you suddenly you're in, and then it's straight into showtime, which to gigging magicians fills us with terror. I want to know. Show me the environment first.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, gold. It's so important for people to know, I think, especially if they're getting into magic now, because people must be, if you were just getting into magic.
And there must be some people, this might be their first few months in magic, where they're not doing magic tricks. It seems alien to us, but there will be, magic shops are still going, they're still pitching, they're still getting people excited about doing magic. They might spend, conceivably, let's say a year, in a certain amount of time, and this is their journey to magic, is doing it over video chat software.
Yeah. Hey, do you know what though? I'm thinking, that time to work on stuff, because what I've seen quite a lot is before this, magicians going out too early with stuff they haven't worked on enough. They get the tricks, they do the thing, and then they go out and gig with it. And for me, it's quite a good opportunity to get 4 pieces of magic that when we can perform again, work on that. And you've got 6 months to work on it before you have to rush out and do it. So I think I still think those, when I review stuff, sometimes I think, is this relevant? Because no one can use it. But then, of course, half the joy is practicing and learning the thing as well. And
exactly, that's the thing. So before the madness hit in, I was working hard on a new stand-up routine for the iPad Act. And I had a few sort of open spots I was going to run it at, and I was super excited. I was writing gags for it, and I was buying new material, buying new magical moments that would be in this longer routine. It was going to be like an 8-minute chunk of my act, big lump of magic. And it was all I could think about until the exact moment lockdown hit, and I couldn't write gags because I couldn't think, when was I ever going to be able to have a chance to run them to know whether it would work or not. And like the smart answer, as you said, keep working. But I found it really, really hard, like a brick wall. Thinking, when will I know? When will I have a chance to run any of this stuff? And there's a world of difference between things sort of working and actually working. And you'll only know that from running it. If you're learning a sleight of hand sequence, you can just be in front of the mirror for 6 or 8 hours a day. if it's material that has to be worked in front of an audience, it's very, very difficult to work it up in this crazy world. So I've been in many ways sort of creatively blocked for some time, thinking about stuff, because close-up magic, I can't think when I'm going to do that. I can't think when I'm going to do stand-up. It's this virtual world for the foreseeable future.
And you are someone that, for people, you won, was it 3 times the creativity award at the Magic Circle?
3-time originality award from the Magic Circle. I don't like to talk about it.
Yeah, it's all right. They do a lot of charity.
But for people that know me, magic is my life.
Yes, I mean, absolutely.
I am magic nuts. I'm thinking about tricks at all times. My girlfriend sort of teased me occasionally, waking up in the middle of the night doing sort of weird sort of Tai Chi thing in blackout, and I'm doing a magic trick in blackout, but with no objects at all. I think, and I'll sort of, and then I'll look at it and go, yeah, I think it will, won't it? That'll fit, won't it? Like, just, I'm half asleep, but I'm doing this trick, and problems, like, my favourite thing is if there's a magic problem I can't solve, I go to bed, and somehow the answer will come to me in night time. Like, it'll just will. But the only way these things happen is if there's creative things that are coming into your head. So I think about magic tricks after I've watched a film, or I've read a book, or I've read an article, or I've spoke to another magician friend who said, wouldn't it be cool if ... We haven't got a lot of those things. We haven't got the different inputs coming into us now. And I mix those around and turn those into magic tricks, or turn those into sort of magical thoughts. Without those things, it's very hard to generate the material. Without direct contact with other magicians sharing, or without the different things you would take in, you can't mix them around and turn it into half-baked magic tricks, so that get worked up to eventually being amazing magic tricks. So that's what I found very frustrating.
So that, because that is your fuel, in it. I remember seeing ages ago one of the early sessions, not the super early ones, and I remember you were like, there was you, Daniel Garcia, talking about creativity and how you come up with stuff, and there was like there was an exercise where you say, well, just take 3 objects, a shoe, and then the brain starts going. So when that is your fuel, I know you say it's frustrating, but how are you dealing with that now? Obviously, is the Zoom thing feeding that at all?
It's a little bit of a creative outlet for it, not the same way, but a little bit, and because you're trying, like I said, you're trying to work within the confines of a screen and within the confines of what will work. Like, there are some people with a Zoom show who've got advanced or multi-camera setups, almost like it's a mini little TV shoot, and I've got this angle, so straight ahead, that's me. I'm not cutting to another camera angle. I want my head to be in there at all times. So the material, if I'm doing sleight of hand thing, it has to be up here. And what was I talking about? But anyway, that is the
creativity. I mean, how are you fueling yourself creatively?
So if I'm thinking about creatively, though, that material won't work for tons of different opportunities. Whereas I start thinking about magic tricks for other environments. I'm more excited by working in other environments, but it's very, very hard. You just feel so stunted. But it's starting to come back a little bit. I can, the whole thing is watch magic, but also watch loads of other things and experience other things. And the more you watch and the more you experience other types of media and speak to other magicians, if a friend of mine says, I can't solve a trick, I can't come up with a good method or a good effect that's to do with something, that's the most exciting thing, because then you just start playing. It's sport, but it's the playtime of magic that's the most productive.
Yeah. And so what should we do? Should we all send you up? Should we all message you?
Form an orderly queue, 2 meters apart. Form an orderly queue.
We'll do a weekly thing on air where you just solve someone's magic problem. Hey, it'd be good. It'd be good.
Yeah. If they can solve mine as well.
Yeah. You solve the magic problem. We solve the emotional issues.
Christ.
A weekly thing.
I've got a feeling that you will have a harder job than I will. Yes.
Is there a lot of work to be done?
There's a lot to unpack. Yes.
Yeah. Well, for all of us. So I just wanted to ask you a bit about, because one of the things that stifled me for ages was failure. So the fear of kind of not doing something really well. So And your trick, Bliss, was the first trick that I
Yeah, no, thank
did on
you.
my review, you know,
Yeah.
which was that thing of you going to review. I was like, oh, I don't know. And I wanted to do it for ages, a review channel, and there was that accountability thing. And I was terrified of it not being great. And of course, it's never going to be, you know,
Yeah.
it was an 18-minute review on one trick, you know, which isn't that far removed from what I'm doing now. But it, but you have to, and it's harder to fail, I think, in a peer group, because I kind of talk about my wilderness years coming out of magic. So it's quite easy for me to do it because it wasn't like I was connected to loads of magicians. Whereas you are, you know, you are with, you know, you're working on TV shows. You've got some very big names that you can call your peers. So when you're doing something that might not work, that must be hard. And I'm thinking about your Penn and Teller thing. And I don't know if you want to talk about it. Is that all right? Because we can edit it if you
Yeah,
don't.
of course.
Yeah, yeah. Can you talk about what happened on Penn and Teller the first time?
Yeah, well, so we filmed it, and Penn and Teller dicked around a little bit, which meant that my method didn't work. But you can't call them out. So then the trick failed first time round because of them messing around, and then and it wasn't my finest hour. But anyway, then so my segment got cut from the show that was aired, and then we went to do it again, and trick was all fine. We changed a few things. So when this is the difference between, so this was originally filmed for the special that was with Ben and Archer, and then when it came to the series, they got me in again. I did the trick again, and it worked fine. But I got a guy up from the audience, or Jonathan got a guy up from the audience, and he was just dead behind the eyes. And when I'd ever done the trick in real life, it was much more banter, and it was a fun experience where you're lightly picking on him, and his family or friends might be around. But in this, I just picked this guy, and he had deer in headlights, and it was not good TV, so it got cut again. But good experience. I say good experience. It was horrific at the time, but.
Well, that's it. That's the thing, because I don't want. It's not like a juicy story of a failure. It's more about, because I think connecting that to what's happening now, we have to try new things, and we have to try new things that might not work. Talking about what your first Zoom thing, which to me, that would terrify me, but you still did it, and that's going to be a huge barrier for some people.
Oh,
and it has been for me. But you seem to
always been a huge barrier for me. I've always been a failure, averse. I mean, none of us like the punch on the nose, because that's what it's like. But knowing that you have to, like when I was thinking about new material for the stand-up act, like I messed around for years, thinking I can't do stand-up act because I want it to be great. I want it to be perfect straight away. Can't be. You just got to go and do it. And I'd start looking at tricks, going, well, there's a better version of that out there. I'll just come up with a better version of that trick, and then I'll start doing that trick. And then you could lose 3 years thinking about, your best version of 6-card repeat. Or the answer is just start doing it and build it with the pieces that you have at the moment and work on it from then. So I was terrified of the of failure as well, massively so. In this environment, less so, because the first show in theory should have been for 3 or 4 extended family members, and was for 40 or 50 pretty much strangers. And but then the other thing is, when you're watching on this Zoom medium, in advance we might have this billing of the successful things we've had in our career. But if a stranger's watching you on Zoom, if it's great, they're delighted and surprised. But if it's terrible, they're not that surprised, because you're going to go, well, of course, it's just a guy in his bedroom. I'll just ignore it. So it's the same. It's almost like an open mic situation.
Yeah.
There's very little expectation. If it's great, they're like, oh, wow, I can't believe how good it was. If it's terrible, they'll just forget about it in moments, because, of course, it's terrible. It's a magician in his back bedroom. You could see it both. Yeah. I want them to think it's great, but I'm not. Yeah. In the first few shows, if it stinks and I'm just doing it as a run through for family and friends, I'm not that worried.
Okay, but is that resilience built up because of things like the Penn and Teller thing? Because what I'm interested, because you did seem to bounce back. But I mean, I didn't talk to you that much in that time, but you kind of got on with it after that. Whereas that would just bury some people.
I was in a pretty bad for a few nights, and but. And also, I didn't know for sure at the time that it wasn't going to air. I was pretty sure.
Okay.
So then it sort of postpones your concerns. But the truth is, my job at the time was gigging, and it was December at the time. So just keep going to do gigs. The difference between doing it on telly and doing it for real people is massive, but the job is doing it for real people as much as you can, and so I just got on with it. But yeah, I don't know if my resilience has been built up, but those crappy things that happen, I just got to try and push on and keep going through it.
Yeah, and I think it is inspiring. I think for me, it's for someone who's always had the same issues with perfectionism and kind of not doing it because it's not perfect. It took me years to get over that fact that if it doesn't work, it doesn't really matter that much, even if you burn the gig.
If someone said to you, like, let's say someone said to you, Steve, that you had to do a Zoom magic show tomorrow, or you've got a month, you'd have the same show.
Yeah.
Because
I know. You know me too well.
Well, not you, but all of us, the royal you, all of us, right?
Yeah, I know.
Like, I kept thinking about what I was going to do, and I started dreaming material. I started thinking about things I could do and interesting different twists, and like posting things to people, like romantic ideas like that. No, that's not going to work. This is not going to work. Just striking lines through it. And then I only really started when I said to my brother on about the Tuesday, right, can we do it? He said, what about Friday night? And then I was off. Like, that was the moment I really started kicking in to create material for this.
Brilliant. I'd love to see it. I want to see it. I'll be like the little anonymous face without the picture in the corner. I'd love to see it. Brilliant. So listen, I don't want to take too much of your time, and I know that this is I want these to be long, sort of. To me, this is the gold, and I appreciate you sharing that so much. Is there anything? So obviously the TV stuff's on hold. What were you, just briefly for people who don't know, what were you mainly consulting on?
Bits pieces for other magicians, their live work, sort of most lately, and before that, TV shows like Killer Magic and My Supply Teacher's Magic, and some other shows that I can't remember, but other bits and pieces that have been fallen through the cracks. But and that's all. And there's none of that pre-record. There's none of that kind of on the horizon, right? Is that all that stuff kind of on hold? Made at the moment, but not tons of stuff. All there's pre-production stuff that's being made, and of course now, like, everyone's got. There's no barrier to entry with magic now. So if a magician has got a phone, a couple of mates, maybe a steady cam, a decent microphone, for £100 in bits plus the stuff they've already got, they can go off and film some magic themselves. So there's more magicians asking for advice and consultants that aren't doing TV. They're just looking to do a little bit on the socials.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you so much. Any parting words? No pressure to have any parting words, but say no if you want. Go and do some magic for someone the next few days. If you've not done it for ages, go and do some magic for people, even if it's just via the internet. Just do something, because at the moment I've only got historical proof that I was a professional magician at one point. Like in years to come, grandkids saying, "Oh, Grandad, you used to get people together and used to have them pick up a piece of cardboard, and you knew what it was, and they came to see, a whole group of people gathered to watch." It seems like the most alien thing in the world. So we're all magicians. Go and do a magic trick for a stranger, or not a stranger, but for family or friends on video, and just make yourself feel better about being a magician. Brilliant. Thank you. And we come up again, because I still wanted to talk about WikiTest, but we'll do it next time. Yeah. We'll give a good plug for Mark. It's amazing. And I still haven't got it. He won't give me I haven't got it, and nor should I. He doesn't need me to review it, but I'm being stubborn, but I'm going to buy it by next week. It's that good. It is absolutely fantastic. Yeah, we'll get have a chat with him. But oh, don't worry. He doesn't need my help. It's the fact that we're still talking about it means he doesn't need my help. He's doing all right. Bought a flat in Camden with the money. He's doing all right. Yeah. Nice one. Right, I'd love to come along there, so let me know. Yeah, do have it on again. And all right, mate. Well, thanks very much. Yeah. All right. Take care, mate. Bye. Bye-bye. So again, thanks so much to Noel. You can check out all the links below. As I said, please like, subscribe, check out Card Magic course, and check out Noel's stuff. Have a look at his website, have a look at his products. You know, Bliss was the first one I ever reviewed on this channel, which was why it was so nice to get him back early on in these interviews. So you can have a look. I think it's like an 18-minute review on the trick. And I was going to say, see how far I've come, but nothing changes, does it? So stay safe, have fun, smile, be happy, be nice to each other, and thanks very much.